Come on, Jeremy.
I think you stand down there.
Oh. Good evening. We will go ahead and call this budget workshop on August 21st, 2025 to order. May I get a roll call, please?
Mayor Grunder,
Here.
Vice Mayor Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Bloodsworth,
Here.
Commissioner Howell, he'll be late, Commissioner Whites.
Here.
If you'll stand before me, please, I'll give the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Father God, thank you for bringing us here together tonight. Thank you for all these people who showed interest in this town and love it as much as we all do too. Please give us a clear mind, clear thoughts, and allow us to do what is absolutely best for the city of High Springs and its residents. Amen. Before we even get started, I just want to say thank you to all of you showing up. We all know that we are in a very difficult time, and the only way we get through it is together. So thank you all for being here. And we will move on to our new business item, presentation from the city manager and options for the FY26 budget.
Thank you, Mayor Grunder. First, thank you all. Sorry, Mayor, I'm gonna talk to him. Thank you all for coming out. I put this out to the community. What you're gonna see tonight is rough, and let's get together and let's work on this together. But thank you all for taking the time to come out. So my name is Jeremy Marshall. I'm the city manager, and tonight I'm gonna present the budget workshop. We're gonna focus, most of the focus will be on sewer. However, as we peeled back this onion, you start to see that it's gonna blend into general fund. And there we go. So here's some of the challenges that are facing the budget this year. We were over capacity with the sewer plant, so we had to make a second sewer plant, and that is online. When we made that second sewer plant, that increases your liability insurance, doubles your utilities, and we had to hire a new sewer operator. Also, the vendor that does our bio-waste sludge hauling, they lost their permit with Levy County, and for them to get it, they were gonna double our rates. So we had to go back out and find ways to take care of our biosolids from the sewer department. A couple weeks ago, we got notified that the funding from ACFR was gonna be reduced by $188,000. That's 51% of the contract that we get from the county. And what you're gonna see tonight is the strain and how you've depleted your utility enterprise funds to supplement the general fund. So what I mean by that is utilities are enterprise funds. So think of them as micro businesses. We own a sewer business, we own a water business and solid waste. That money that goes into it should be operating that enterprise fund, and that enterprise fund should be self-sustaining. You're going to see big transfers out of there, and you're going to see a depletion of your reserves when we get into the enterprise fund. This is the problem that we have to solve tonight. Your budget deficits, with the reduction from the fire, you're going to have a $103,000 deficit, and then with the sewer, with all the changes and the increase, it's going to be a $620 deficit. To make the budget whole for fiscal year 26, we need to find $723 or $723,000, whether it's raising rates or cutting what we have. I'm going to let Diane explain this. She does a better job of explaining this.
Diane Wilson, Finance Director. So we had been asked to provide fund balances for the utility system. These are the unrestricted net positions. So this is the cash available at 9/30 of 2 different years of 2023. That was the last audit. Our 24 audit will be done next month. And it shows you between 23 and 24 the direction it's going. In 23, you can see that solid waste had a reserve balance. Then we went into the Waste Pro contract and raised rates for that first partial year. So we drew that down. And then sewer continues to be expensive. and we're drawing down. It has a negative cash position, and that means that the cash from the general fund is a placeholder for it's like an interfund loan for the sewer system. And obviously that's not sustainable. We have to become whole. We don't have reserves. This is our cash, this is our reserve position. And if we have an emergency and we need to go out and borrow money, we don't have reserves to back it up, and it would be really expensive to borrow. The interest rates would be really high if we could get money. And we don't have the reserves to take care of it ourselves.
Okay. So here's your sewer budget, your revenue and your expenses. So if you look at your expenses, what I want to point out to you is if you look at the right side of that pie graph, you have the debt payments for the sewer. That's a USDA loan that we took out in 2003, and it cost us $457,000 a year for that loan until 2043. We have the debt payments for AMI, that's the meter system at $84,000. Debt payments for Mower Max, that takes care of the infiltrated wetlands, $63,000. And then we transferred $310,000 to the general fund. And also for grinder pumps, between repairing and replacing them, we spend $360,000. So if you look, approximately 60% of your expense is out the door before you touch one drop of sewage. What I wanted to point this out, even though we're not talking about transportation, this is the grossest example I can find of how we are using our utilities to fund general funds. So to the left, you have the revenue that comes in from local option gas tax, and this should be going towards road projects. If you look to the expenditures, you'll see 53% of that just goes to make the general fund whole. So we are making the general fund whole on the backs of your utilities. So out of all the money you get for your transportation revenues, between the sign and maintenance and the transfer general fund, 61% gets spent without even touching a road. This is our revenue. I wanted to put these slides up here. Can you hear me okay? I wanted to put these slides up here so you can understand what the different revenues are. The main one is your ad valorem taxes, your sales and use tax, your franchise fees, that comes from Duke Energy and Cox, and then we have state revenue sharing, and then a couple, rentals and whatnot. What I want to point out to you is if you look at the top right-hand corner of that pie graph, you'll see it outlined in yellow. For our general fund, that whole yellow part is transfers from your utility funds to fund your general fund. So you're taking the money out of the reserves and all your money for your utilities and paying for general fund stuff. Now, taking money out of the general fund is acceptable. It covers the administrative costs of running that enterprise fund. So for example, sewer, they still need HR, they still need finance and those services. GFOA, which is the General Finance Officers Association, says the industry standard of a general fund transfer should fall between 5 to 10%. My goal is 7%. However, if you noticed in the last slide, transportation, that's at 53%. We shouldn't be over 10. And you'll see that with every single one of your general or your enterprise funds. So how's the money spent? So off to the right, you'll see, I'm sorry, it's in white, I'll read it. It's $3,393,307 goes to police. Now fire gets funded by different avenues, such as your fire assessment, our contract with the county, and then we spend $1 million out of your general fund to pay for what's left of the fire department. Then you got your public works, parks and rec, finance, city manager, and then the other ones are your small, like HR and whatnot. Sorry, I'm going a little quick. I want to make sure we get a chance for the citizens to get up here and talk. So this is what we're going to work from. What you see is a breakdown of every department and how we spend the money. I'm giving you a high-level overview right now, but later on, if you want to dive into each one of these departments, I have all their budgets up here so you can see them. This is your local option gas tax. We had 1.2 million sitting in there on fiscal year 18, and by 21 we had dropped it down to 100,000. Makes 0 sense to me, because if you look on this bar graph, the orange is actual road projects we did, and the blue is transfers to general fund. So out of the last 8 years, we had 3 years where we did road projects. The rest of that money went to general fund. Highly inappropriate. Here's the transfers from the utilities, so you could see how much of your utilities is going to do the general fund. One of the things I wanted to point out is if you look at fiscal year 21 going into 22, the utilities, they went from 600,000 to about 900,000. And also I put in here the transfer to the fire fund skyrocketed as well. 21 was the year that we as a city made a decision, and I don't believe from where we're standing now it was a smart one. So you asked me to bring scenarios. A lot of these scenarios came from you. A lot of these scenarios came from colleagues and the community. So the first one we want to talk about is eliminating the fire department. Let me back up. Every single option I'm going to give you tonight as a city manager, I hate. And as a citizen, I hate it even more. I'm required to live in the city, and it's ugly, and I don't like it. Last year, we sold the heavy rescue, and a lot of the talk about it was we're reducing services, and I still stand by we weren't. However, these scenarios, you are looking at reducing services, significantly reducing services in the city. So if we got rid of the fire department, what would it look like? We would eliminate the $1 million transfer out of the general fund, which is also the same amount that we're transferring out of utilities. So it would make your utilities healthy, and you wouldn't have the general fund transfer. The new transfers are off to the right. You would see we would go from $1 million being transferred from the general fund for admin services to 185. That's an appropriate amount. How it will affect you, we are still talking. We're going to talk later about a sewer increase. Then your water would decrease. Your solid waste would decrease $4.75. And then we take a look. If we got rid of the fire department, you will fall underneath the county, and you will fall underneath their fire assessment. Their fire assessment is significantly higher than ours. The way they do their fire assessment is different how we do ours. So they have a sliding scale based on your parcel. Here, we do it by the parcel, and most of your residential is at 223 right now. I used Alan Allagood, for example, lives in the county, and he pays $768 a year in fire assessment, and his neighbor who lives in the city pays $223. So I can't tell you what an average house would increase under the county fire, but it will be significant. Having no fire department, the impacts of it, we will no longer have, hey Chad, you just missed the beginning. You will no longer have control of how we conduct fire services. It will be up to the county and their policies and how they do it. Right? We don't, I haven't talked too much about, I have talked to Chief Theus, but I haven't talked to him about what is it going to look like if you were to take this over. So they run 3 firefighters. Sorry, Rebecca, I saw you in here. 3 firefighters on the truck. So if we have 3, they're only going to roll 1 truck. If we get something significant, their truck will show up, and they'd have to wait for another truck from Alachua to get there to put water on the fire. There'd be a cut in service level to the High Springs, and residents pay a higher county. The businesses might go down a little bit compared to what they're getting now under the new fire assessment. It may be less. Like I said, they have a totally different model. But I'm concentrating on residential right now, and we provide fire services for cheaper. What's the advantage? You're going to get $1 million savings out of the general fund. You do this, the general fund problems go away. But the disadvantage, they're going to have 3 firefighters per shift. We currently have 5. We can roll 2 trucks. If it's a medical call, we can run to 2 different medical calls and get paramedics there way faster than not having them. You may have a higher fire assessment. Chief Theus will be showing up here later. He can talk more about that. Also, I wanted to point out some of the things that our fire department does for no cost to the city. They do public health events. They do outreach. If the kids are at a summer park, they bring the truck out and spray them with the water for recreation. They teach CPR classes, stop the bleed, car seat checks, bike helmet checks. All these things save lives. And it's something that our fire department does a very good job of getting out in the community. Another scenario was reduction in fire staff. So this assumes that it would assume 2 firefighters and a lieutenant on the shift. We're not going to do the part-timer. I took that out today, so it's still on there. This includes 1 paramedic per shift. So if we have a medical call, we can get a paramedic there. And this will have, we didn't add it in there, but there'll be some savings from like gear and uniforms. Very little savings, but you would have some more savings there. What would that look like for the sewer and water fund? So it reduces the transfer from the general fund from $1 million, and it reduces it down 442. So now your transfer to the general fund would be 573. This accounts for half of the deficit by sewer by eliminating the transfer and the $103 fire deficit. What is this going to look like to the residents? We're still talking about a sewer increase. We're talking about lowering the water, and then your fire assessment, it would bump up $27, and so that means the residents will pay an additional, that can't be right. Yes, $11.25 a month and $162 a year. What are the advantages of having the fire department where we're at? We have daily staffing with 5 firefighters, 2 medics. So if something happens in High Springs, they are rolling and they're ready to take care of you. We have a lower fire assessment rate, shorter response times. We have volunteers that come in and help out. In fact, one of them's here. Brian Langston's one of our volunteers. We have 2 ALS trucks, so if we have 2 medical emergencies, which happens a lot more than you think, we roll to them. And then you get the stop the bleed, the CPR, and also Kevin is the PIO. So when we have a hurricane, all those messages you get and all those alerts and all the updates on Facebook, that's Kevin. And what's the disadvantage? Well, you got $1 million expenditure from the general fund. One of the things was talked about is removing the night shift from the police department. So it would save us $544,000 because we would have to get rid of 4 police officers and 2 sergeants. We would get rid of 6 police vehicles for a total reduction of 610. We did an estimate. This is a good faith estimate. I don't like doing estimates when I'm presenting facts, but based off of what Newberry pays for their ASO contract, we would think the contract for an ASO deputy out here would run $600,000. So we would only net $10,000 savings by removing the night shift. Another scenario was to close the tags office. So we have a tag office here that's through the county, but we have an employee that takes care of it, and we get revenue from that. So the benefits of getting rid of it is we would probably lose a half-time employee, but the revenue that we would lose from not doing the tags negates that. It's a wash. So really closing the tag office really doesn't make sense. But if we did get rid of it, citizens would no longer be able to come here to register vehicles or transfer tags. They would have to go to Gainesville. I think for the wash, I think it's a good service to provide. Another scenario is no raises for staff this year. We are in negotiations with the police department, and we have talked and made it a priority to get the police department up to a competitive pay to help with recruiting and retention. All the other general fund will be there. So you got 180 and then 45. So out of the general fund, you save $225,000. Then you have the fire, water, sewer, building, and CRA. Those are all your enterprise funds. How's it going to no raises impact the service level? Well, we're in police negotiations, and we have to basically have an agreement with them not to do raises. I can't predict how that will go. Me and Chief are working hard with the union. We may lose employees. I want you to think, don't think about me, don't think about Chief Shepherd, think about the public works employee. Some of these employees work for $15 an hour, climbing in your sewer pipes in the middle of summer, covered in crap, and we pay them $15 an hour. When you're making $15 an hour at 3%, hey, every bit helps. Employee morale. My team is telling me this is the best morale they experienced in years. And I think not rewarding them would detract from that. So how would it impact you? You would still need to increase the sewer, and we would have to find an additional $75,000 revenue to make us whole. How we could do that? One option is raise the millage rate an eighth. So last year we reduced it a quarter. I'm asking, if you go this route, I'm asking for half of that reduction back to make it whole. So that would increase your millage rate from 674 to 686. How can we solve this with no impacts to services? You have to raise the rates. Either you raise the rates or you cut the service. That's how you're going to get out of this. So what would it look like? A quarter millage rate would be 674. That'd give us 100,000. And then we could do 1325 for a sewer increase. Or if you want to solve the whole sewer problem all in one shot, it would be $24.25. That's how much you got to raise the sewer to make this deficit go away. Some people talked about selling buildings. So the problem I have with selling the buildings and the properties, one, do we need to do that? Yes, we do. We have a ton of these and they're not serving a public purpose, and there's no point in us. We shouldn't be in the real estate business. So talk about selling the properties. The problem with selling the properties is that's one-time revenue. So for example, if I sold the Priest Theater, arbitrary numbers, $300,000, just an arbitrary number, we could put that to solve the problem this year, but we're going to be back here next year doing the same exact talk. It's a one-time money. What I recommend we do is aggressively sell these properties and take that one-time money and replenish our reserves, because our utilities are in bad shape. The sewer system breaks all the time, and if something catastrophic happens, we are in a bad position. I would say sell these and replenish your reserves. To go back to it, we get $20 a year for the Boy Scout hut and the garden club. I'm told the Boy Scouts are going to be done soon, and the garden club, we're not going to just kick them out. I've actually talked to their president yesterday, and we're talking about doing a partnership, letting them use the apartment at the Canoe Outpost for a meeting place, and in return, instead of paying rent, they can do gardening and spruce up our Canoe Outpost. It's a park. It should look nice. Catholic Charities is the building over there. They pay $10 a year, and it's falling apart. They know once it's no longer habitable, we will be getting rid of it. I say we sell it. We get a lot of lots. A lot of them have sinkholes, so they can't be buildable. But these are lots that the county takes for like a tax foreclosure and hands them down to the city. We pay $2,000 a year in property tax for lots that just sit there and do nothing. Let the citizens do something with them. Let them buy them. And what I'm doing is I'm going to the assessor's website and just finding out what fair market value is, and that's where I've been starting negotiations. We're in negotiations for a few different sales right now. And we only get $6,000 a year for the land lease at the post office. So here's a summary of your scenarios. If you eliminate the fire department, you'll still have a sewer increase. And then we're saying about a $200 raise in your fire assessment if it goes to the county. So $1,325 a month, and then $359 for the year. Reduce the staffing to 4 for the fire department. So reducing the staffing 4 makes it so they can respond. It's a safer situation. They can respond to trucks. They can roll more calls. They can back each other up. That would be the sewer increase, and then your fire assessment will go up $27. Your millage rate would have to go up. I think that's supposed to be an eighth, Diane. I made a mistake on this slide. It's supposed to be an eighth. But $261 more a year reduces your fire department to 4. One of the suggestions that came was reducing it to 3. If you reduce it to 3, you only run 1 truck. So if there's a fire, we only run 1 truck, and we don't have a water, you're waiting until another truck gets on there, whether it's from by the Wawa or wherever. So if you reduce it to 3, you still have a sewer increase, you would have a water rate decrease, giving you $11.25 or $162 a year. Eliminating raises, just a sewer increase in your millage rate, so that'd be $234 a year or $13.25 a month plus whatever the month, so about $7 more for the millage rate increase. And then keeping the services the way they are. Don't reduce anything. You got to raise the rates. You got to pay for it. So what would that look like? You got to raise your sewer rate to $20.45 so we can reduce that general fund transfer, and then raise the millage rate an eighth at $37.50 for $331.50. I put this out to the community. I got some emails, and the community is very supportive of the fire and the police department, but we have to pay for it. So if you want the services at the level it's at today without cutting anything, that's your way out. Extra $331.50 a year. Any questions? I went through it fast. I wanted to give you guys all time to get up here and speak.
Well, that's not a loaded question. Any
All right,
questions?
let's start it.
All right, commissioners.
Can we talk about trash? Can I mention that right now?
We can mention trash.
I just want to know, could I mention trash right now? So I understand that we were saying if we sell a property, it's only one time. But so if we sell like the Canoe Outpost, which is our building that I feel is the least used out of all properties that make sense, that's almost $1 million building that sits on the waterfront property that would probably be easy sale. If we change trash, keep the same amount that we're charging, my projection would be that we're going to make about $200,000 a year off of trash if we keep it the same rate as it is now. You gotta selling the Canoe Outpost probably would get you 2 years, and then by year 3 you would have enough money to pay for the sewer at the rate that it is now.
Okay. That's an idea.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, Danielle, you may be able to answer that in terms of the sellability of the Canoe Outpost. It was bought by Wild Spaces Funds, the Alachua Conservation Trust, and apparently a private donor. Do we know who the private donor was? Were there stipulations? Are there limitations in terms of the sellability of that property?
So there's 2 things to keep in mind about Canoe Outpost. The first and foremost is going to be those Wild Spaces Public Places funds. Those funds have to go back into the Wild Spaces Public Places bucket. Now, that's a portion of what Commissioner Miller is talking about. If we're using $1 million as a number, I imagine it wasn't $1 million out of Wild Spaces Public Places. The second piece of that is that piece of property is going to be subject to that conservation easement, and that is going to affect its marketability. So those are the 2 things to keep in mind. I'm not a real estate broker. I don't play one on TV. I have no idea. I just know that the conservation easement is going to travel with that piece of property, and the new owner is going to be bound by the same terms and conditions that we are presently bound by.
Somebody had made the recommendation that the state might want to buy it. Is that something we could do in terms of, as a state park or an extension of what's across the river, just in terms of conservation? Would that be possible? I mean, I understand what you're saying in terms of the Wild Spaces money has to stay in that bucket. We can't transfer Wild Spaces money to general fund, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Sir, it's not the time for that. I'm sorry. Whenever we get into public comment, please come up and bring it up.
Perfect.
With that comment being said about the wild spaces, the only thing we would be saving with what you're describing is just the utility bill of upkeep for the building. That would be, because that money's not coming back into the general fund if we sell the Canoe Outpost.
No, because Danielle just said it wasn't $1 million.
No, but it's Wild Places money.
But the
No,
whole,
you're just gonna put back what? So however, you know how much we did in Wild Space?
Diane, how much was it in Wild Spaces Public Places?
100,000 out of Wild Spaces, but
We bought the
regardless
building
of what
for
you
like, what,
sell it
6
for,
something?
you would have to,
Yeah.
we paid 400,000 and then there was 200,000 from the Conservation Trust. And so that's where that 600,000 number comes from. But we borrowed 589.
So you're gonna put, say half of the million, you're gonna put half of a million back, and then the other half you're gonna have, right?
In Wild Spaces.
I
It
know-
all has to go in Wild
It
Spaces.
all has to
It,
go?
it can't come back to general fund. If you make a profit on Wild Spaces money, you have to put it back into Wild Spaces. You can't
Yep.
just take it to general fund, right?
That's true.
I'd have to check with the county to confirm. They're the ones who keep our eyes on that. That is my general understanding of Wild Spaces Public Places funds in terms of revenue gained off of them.
But basically, that's what I'm asking. The only savings we're gonna get is for upkeep of the building, correct? Am I understanding that? Can anybody correct
That's
me
what
on
I'm
that?
hearing, yes.
I mean, I was all for getting rid of it because we're not utilizing what we all thought we were gonna get, a boat ramp, access to the river. It's not helping the citizens for what I think was the general idea. So even selling it, it's not coming back to the general fund, it's going to Wild Places. So that don't help us.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, if I could piggyback on that, in terms of upkeep for that, what's the funding for the insurance on the building and the utilities? Is that Wild Spaces money or is it general fund money?
Combination.
How is that possible?
I don't want to this is not my place to tell you guys what to talk about, but Wild Spaces has nothing to do with tonight's meeting, and it's all general fund and sewer, and I don't want to drag you guys down a different rabbit hole. We have to use, because it was originally bought with 2017 money, we have to use the 2017 tranche to maintain it. We could use that money, but we don't have any of that left. So we have to use general fund to maintain the canoe outpost right now as it stands.
Okay.
Sorry.
And apparently, they used it for collateral for a loan. Is that right? The canoe outpost was used?
No, sir, they actually bought property with Wild Spaces money that they had saved up, and then they took out a loan after that
To
to
do-
replenish Wild Spaces and use for maintenance and upkeep was the intent.
Which really wasn't necessary, right? Yes, exactly. That was how much, 500,000? Yeah, that's another good one.
Okay, so since that doesn't work, so with the priest, are we able to sell the priest, or is it stipulations with that if we sold the priest?
Again, you can do this, and we can use, so we could sell the priest, let's say $1 million. That's the number, $1 million. That puts $1 million back in, but that's one-time money. So if we use that $1 million, we'll be back having the same conversation either next year or the year after. I'm highly encouraging the commission to take anything that we sell from properties and put it back into our reserves to replenish the reserves in case something goes wrong with your utilities. Because if something goes wrong with that sewer system, you're going to hear from them when crap is coming through their toilet.
Absolutely. Well, we need to find more than a Band-Aid. That's
Yeah.
what we're here to do tonight. So we got to stay on track with that and figure out what exactly we're going to do to prevent this from reoccurring, because from the information that I've got, we have been kicking this can down the road for years and years and years, and before any of us were up here. But, you know, if we're going to do the right thing by everybody, we're going to fix it.
So that's
But
why
like I said,
the last-
What's going
although-
to be reoccurring that we can move forward with.
But that's why I added that. That's why I asked, could I talk about trash? Because that's not a one-time thing.
that's not, that's a good
That you're going to
suggestion.
be in a contract at least for 3
That's
years.
a good suggestion. No, that's not one-time money. That's recurring. That would work.
Mr. Mayor, in terms of revenue possibility, the challenge here is where can we get revenue? The property that we've got at the wastewater treatment plant, Loncala has the timber rights to some of that property still. How long is that lease good for them? And if it comes to a close, could we not be planting timber and getting some revenue from that?
We could. So I met with staff. We've had quite a few department head meetings, and okay, and we come up with ideas of how we can raise revenue, and a lot of good ideas. Using that property would be one of them, but the amount of revenue. So we were talking about maybe selling the pine straw off of that 86 acres, and that would bring $10,000 a year. That's great. That's $10,000 a year that we don't have anything to do with. That kind of raising the revenue I didn't bring tonight because it's a minimal part. We have to look at the big picture. But staff has come up with many ways to raise revenue, and I'm hesitant because a few months ago we came with raising rental rates, and we got slayed over it. So I'm hesitant about bringing forward raising fees and whatnot because it's met with opposition.
Well, you and I spoke earlier about what we as a commission can do to help augment where there are holes in staff. I can clean. I'll come here once a week. I'll clean buildings. If that saves us some money in terms of staff, we as a commission may not like this, but we could take a pay cut. That's something. I mean, it's all just little drops, but all of that could add up. I mean, if we took a 25% pay cut, and just for the record, we get $816.72 a month to do this. Not a ton of money, but if we cut that by $25,000, we could add another $12,000, $15,000 back to the budget.
Sure.
It's something.
Sure.
So, any little places where we could do that.
What I've been telling staff, because I mostly spoke to staff, is these are great ideas, but they're drops in the bucket.
Yeah.
But if you make enough drops in a bucket, it can make a big splash.
Right.
So watch the dollars, but count the pennies.
Yes, yes. I asked Danielle also about whether or not, I compared two properties in High Springs, very similar properties. They're about a third of a mile apart. One is in the city limits, the other is in the county. The fire assessment in the city limits, $223. The fire assessment, same size property, almost the same value for the county property, was $439.71. So if we get rid of our city fire department, everybody's fire assessment's going to go up. But that's about as dollars to dollars as we can get. Sure. They also, on the county one, and if these neighbors that are just a third of a mile down the road had a fire, High Springs Fire Department's the closest. They're going to be the ones that are going to be dispatched. So they also have an MSTU for ASO. Their law enforcement, it's an ad valorem revenue, $367.48. We cannot do that. Danielle and I talked about whether or not we could assess a law enforcement just so that it was more transparent what it costs. But we can't. Danielle looked at
There's a case
some
out
case
of
law.
Lake County from the Supreme Court that says that cities can't do a general assessment for general law enforcement services. It's later analyzed by an Attorney General opinion 98-57 that goes on to further interpret that to be just that, is that the court and our Attorney General has said that you cannot do a special assessment for general law enforcement services.
So understanding that the county tax bill is these two almost identical properties, the county tax bill, I looked at their ad valorem tax bill, was 26.5% higher than the city, a comparable city property. Would there be some benefit in terms of ongoing revenue to look at these little pocket county properties to see if they wanted to annex in?
It could. So if we went to see if they wanted to annex in, that would be more property on the tax rolls, which would increase your revenue. I didn't count any annexing into this because we don't know if they're going to annex through or not, so I can't count on it. But we will look at these enclaves, and see if they want to annex in.
And we've talked about that. I mean, we were told that by our own building department, that that's what we need to start doing because there's nowhere else to build in High Springs. We have no other options at this point.
So the 90,000 that we had left for the LDC rewrite, could we put that into fire since it's 103?
You'll solve it for 1 year,
But I'm saying, could we put it in there?
one time, yeah. I wouldn't put the whole thing back. I have a feeling that LDC rewrite's going to cost us a little more than what we contracted for because there's no QC. And listen, I don't know that much about planning to QC an LDC. I think we're going to have somebody QC it. It wouldn't be that much, but
Well, it's something to think about.
Yep.
But it's good to hear that there is money there. I'm glad we
Yep.
made that decision.
So I'd like to address this to Diane, if you don't mind. I think we've talked about this before, and it might have been the last meeting. In the past years, rates have not been being increased. So to get caught up, these numbers today that we're looking at, will that catch us up? Basically, it's where we should be now. is what we should have been doing, gradually raising to be where we at, what we want to do tonight.
Right. It will catch us up for this year. And I mentioned, I think, the last meeting, as expenses grow, if we don't take out the general fund transfer or don't modify that, all things kept the same, expenses are going to continue to rise. So we would have to continue to do small rate increases as we go forward. Just do small, regular ones. Adjust all the utility to a more reasonable,
Up-to-date figure, maybe?
a more reasonable transfer, that will kind of give us a reset where we may not have to do. Okay, right.
Kevin, your slide 9.
Water's
would-
okay right now, but part of the reason we're in this mess is because we didn't gradually raise
Right.
rates anywhere
And we
else.
should,
so
we,
we've kicked
exactly.
that
So we're
can
not
down the
building
road.
up the reserves because
So what I
we were
want
breaking even.
And the way we're running this with no reserves and whatnot, we're
Is-
asking to get punched in the mouth.
100%.
100%.
So we got options. We can either cut citizen services, or we can raise rates higher than anybody else in the county by far. And we can continue to raise rates every year. So what we got to come to do is figure out,
I'll say this about that.
What
is
people want.
One, is the services that we offer in High Springs is what attracted me to move here. We are the only city, though, outside of Gainesville that has its own police and own fire. That is expensive services. As you can see on this here, that just in your general fund, that is 4.4 million, just in public safety. But we enjoy that here. And that is the services that the community has emailed me and reached out to me and said that they don't want to lose. So to Mayor Grunder's point, you're exactly right, Mayor Grunder. You have two options. Raise the rate to match what it costs to run those services, or reduce those services.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question? On this pie chart that you have up there, Mr. Marshall, IT is $214,000.
Sure.
Are we at a point now where we should consider hiring somebody to do IT?
So click on the IT for me, Kevin.
What page is that?
So out of that 214, this is what your IT budget looks like. So we spend 108,000 for the consulting, and then the rest of it is your maintenance and emails and operating and all that.
it's all those systems that we have. I mean,
Yep.
that's just, it's
Yeah,
expensive.
so we're not gonna
to
save
license
there.
It's
those.
not going to say, well, if you hired an IT guy, by the time you pay the salary and the benefits
Right.
for somebody
Right.
that would be comparable to
Yeah.
Eric May's team, you'll be over
You're
that
going up.
108,000.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's the deceiving part, and it's something that we got to tell the citizens too, is that most IT professionals make over six figures. We got 108,000 we're paying in services, but yet we get, how many people does Eric employ? 9 people. We get 9 of his experts, and they're all highly trained. We couldn't hire one of his guys for that.
And I'll say, as a city manager, I am very happy with the IT services we get from Eric May's crew.
Yeah, they are. That's all the employees say, is how well and how responsive they are. I mean, I used to live right next to Eric May, and I can tell you I've seen on more than one time when I was coming home at 3 a.m. from work that there were police cars or fire trucks or other people sitting outside his house, and he's sitting in the driveway at that time of the night fixing things. So I think what we get is pretty amazing, and they have dropped services. The money we've had to pay by, I mean, how much? 60-something thousand last year alone? I mean, 60-something thousand, that's pretty impressive.
Well, I think the part in there that's somewhat invisible is how much Kevin Mangan helps augment what they do.
So Kevin is our assistant IT. So if it's something, hey, I need something real quick, he comes over and takes care of it. If he can't take it, then we elevate it to Eric May. Eric May, or sorry, what is the name of this company? Emerald Data.
Emerald Data.
Emerald Data. They lowered it because we got proactive about projects, and we got staff reaching out to IT instead of saying we're going to do this, this, and this, and then they had to jump through hoops. We have lowered the burden on them, and Kevin is a huge component of that. And they were able to say we could lower our fees, so we're doing more efficient job at City Hall, and that was a $60,000 savings.
Mr. Mayor, this is the last question I have because I want to make sure we have time for everybody. Grinder pumps is something we haven't talked about.
Sure.
See JC standing here. He spends, I don't know how much time fixing those grinder pumps. In terms of that cost, are we at a point where we really need to discuss how we move forward?
We will. Danielle's been busy, so I tried to call her earlier. We were trying to find a mechanism, and I'm going through this gently because the community impact, but we have maintained those grinder pumps for 20 years.
Yep.
At some point, they're a component of the house, kind of like your septic tank. It's a component of the house. So we're looking at, is there a way, and I'm kind of putting Danielle on the spot, I'm sorry, Danielle. Is there a way that we could say, the next time that grinder pump breaks, we'll put a new one in, but once that new grinder goes in, that's the owner's grinder now. Because those grinders have a 5-year warranty, but new grinders will last approximately 10 years if you take care of them or more. They cost $2,000 a piece. So it would take over, we did the math, I think 2.8 million to replace all the grinders in the city, if my number's right.
No, we have 3.3 million in the ground, in grinders alone.
Wow.
That doesn't include control box or wires.
And do we know what the size of the pump is? Is that a 1-horse pump?
1 horse, I think.
1 horsepower? Okay.
I want to continue with your questions. I didn't say this in the beginning. We have a commission meeting tonight, so we need to shut this budget workshop down temporarily at 6:20, do a 10-minute recess, do your commission meeting, and if you want to reopen the budget workshop, we can do that. I just want to make sure we give people a chance.
Mr. Mayor, before we do, I want to share one thing. I've reached out to Kevin and Chief Peters today. I wanted to get their opinion if we eliminated the fire department and let the county take it over. I don't know if the public is aware of this. We have, remind me if I'm wrong, 16 employees, 17. We also have that new truck that we're replacing that's coming. So we say, oh, the county's going to take the fire department over. I'm assuming, just off the cuff here, we decide to do that, say, tonight. They show up to work Monday morning, they change T-shirts and shields on the truck, and it's going to run that smooth. It's not going to be that smooth. We already know the county fire assessment is higher than us. We're not guaranteed our guys are going to have a job. We're not guaranteed that the county's going to take our equipment. We may be stuck with getting rid of equipment.
Might be.
They may not take our station.
Earlier, I talked about.
That's not a good idea, I'm afraid. I don't think. I was on board if that was the case, that every one of our guys has a job, their retirement's taken care of, their benefits are taken care of. Apparently, it is not that easy.
I can't guarantee that.
Exactly.
In fact, I know I can't because they use a reduced staffing. So
Exactly.
I would, if the county came in, and this is me just coming off the cuff, so don't hold this as fact, but I think they run 3 firefighters. Yeah, everybody will have to apply.
Yeah, that is not.
But what I'm saying is the way they staff will be way less than what I staff, and also it puts me in a bad position. If Chad shows up to work and he keeps messing up and we keep counseling him, sooner or later I'm going to fire Chad. I have no problem doing that. That's on you. But laying people off, that's on me. As a city manager, if I have to lay somebody off, I have failed somewhere in the budget. This is no fault of any firefighter, police officer, or anybody. This is a fault that's been swelling over years. I have a hard time. I've never laid anybody off in my whole career. I have a hard time swallowing that pill. I'm doing everything I can.
Well, it's not just on you, it's on every one of
it
us who
is.
sits up here and on everybody who's
Absolutely.
ever sat up here.
I appreciate that.
And unfortunately, though, High Springs has been living on a champagne taste with a beer budget for a long time.
I've been using that all week. I'm just all
Telling you, that's what this is. So it's either raise it all the way up or
We're talking about revenues and everything else. The reality is I know it's been stalled, but there's going to be a development where Bridlewood was, whether it's Bridlewood or something else. Is that going to help with the revenue?
It will help with the revenue because you'll have more people paying and sharing this burden. But you got to remember, as that goes through, like, one of the complaints about Bridlewood is our roads can't handle it. But if you go back and look how much we spent on road projects, we got to start taking care of our roads if we're going to develop the city into something that people want to move into. These, you know,
Well, we
the
got to keep
roads-
our money in our road department.
Yeah, only doing road projects 3 years out of 8, that's a problem. But yes, Bridlewood, for all intents and purposes, will happen one way or the other. I don't know who the builder will be. I don't know. Somebody told me the other day it's not for sale. I've seen it for sale. I think it was an outrageous amount I don't have. But, yeah.
So the
that-
reality is, if we try to continue to stop growth in this city, which is what's been going on for years and years and years, then the cost of these services will be continued to be put on our citizens, and those costs are going to keep going up and up and up. So at some point, there's got to be a balance between the growth and our citizens. So
Absolutely. And it's like a feel-good thing, right? You know, we rally around, we want to stick with everybody in the town, we want to sit here and do all this, but there's a whole nother populace that may or may not be here that are fixed income people. And we're talking about taking all of their rates on fixed incomes that are very difficult right now because everything has gone up. Everything is more expensive, and they are not getting more money every month. They're not getting more money coming in. And unfortunately, when you start talking about raising things, and we're talking, you know, $50, $60 more a month,
It's a lot
to a lot of us who are very fortunate that doesn't hurt, but there's a lot of people that does hurt.
Sure does.
And those are people that have worked damn hard their whole life, and then now to be stuck in a situation like that, that's not fair either, and that sucks, but
And the sad part, just to catch up.
yeah, just to
catch up.
Yeah, and that's telling them that, hey, look, I'm raising it crazy this year, and guess what? We're going to turn around and raise it again on you next year because we don't want to be back in the same situation. So we have got to come up with better ways to bring money in.
And I believe that we've tried to stop the bleeding since all of us and since you have come on board to stop the bleeding of excessive spending. We don't have that anymore. We haven't had it for a year.
So last year when I did the budget, I cut everything I could possibly cut. I cut an assistant city manager, gone. Assistant Parks and Rec director, gone. We don't need this position. If it didn't make sense, we got rid of it. We got rid of some vehicles. We downgraded vehicles. I cut everything I can to make it work. We just nothing left to cut. Mm-hmm. And there's no reserves that we can tap into. We are in a tough spot.
Let's get this open. I want to hear from the citizens.
I'm gonna step away.
Everybody will have 3 minutes. Please be cognizant that we are running up against a time crunch, and please be cognizant of your time. When it goes off, I'm sorry, do not keep going. Good afternoon, sir.
Donald Alderman, city resident. Before we get on to what I really want to talk about, I think by state law, enclaves and islands can be annexed forcibly. No problem with that. I'm pretty sure it's a state law. Look into it. We did it down south, not a problem. So they don't have a choice in it. They can fight it, they'll lose. As far as losing our fire department, if the county takes over, we'll get one truck, probably a used truck. They'll take all our equipment, put it where they want it. They'll turn around, and we'll suffer what they do. They do it right now. They do closest unit goes. So when our unit rolls out here to Alachua for a mutual aid call, and they're coming back and they get a call that's, let's say, down Turkey Creek or somewhere, they're going. We'll be up here. We're like, the fire service in Alachua County is like hypothermia. We're the extremity out here, way up here. As that truck goes in toward the core, it continues to go in. We've had times where we had firefighters stuck in Gainesville for hours because they're going to the closest unit, even though another unit in station is only a few seconds away. So that is a bad choice for that. Another reason why they don't care, the reason why you have a $188,000 shortfall is they moved that truck over here. They're jumping calls we used to get paid for. That's why we have a shortfall. They don't care about us. Look how long it took them to redo 236. For years, they kept saying they were going to do it, and every time they didn't get their way with us, they canceled it. I hate to say it, we need building. I know people don't like it. Traffic is bad here, not because we're building around here. We haven't been building. It's Gilchrist and Columbia County are building. Traffic is going through. We don't build, we still suffer. We need to be building houses here so we can get tax base on it. Let's see what else I got here. The point being is, we seem to come up on this every 3 or 4 years. We're always short. We need to start taking care of this stuff. And like I said, let's annex these people. I've been talking about this 20 years. I've been here 20 years. And every time they talk about, oh, that's a great idea, they never do it. Take them, get them out of here. It's against state law. Thank you.
Evening, folks. Brian Langston, High Springs resident, retired High Springs firefighter, and a volunteer. I was going to answer yours. I apologize for the decorum.
you're
I was
fine, sir.
actually had a knee surgery, was put on Parks and Rec, so I was part of the Wild Spaces Public Places and the Canoe Outpost. One of the things that they did when we first did it, along with the Wild Spaces, the Alachua County Trust, and the anonymous donor, was that there was a 35-year clause that it could not be sold. I don't know if that's ever changed. It was specifically put in there initially so that they could not sell it and develop it. Because when we purchased it, a certain group was looking to do a resort or something on it. So it was going to be a natural conservation easement always. So we couldn't turn around, sell it, and make the money. And that was the catch-fall, because it would be great to be able to sell it and do something. I'm not sure about giving it to the state, but I do know that the money that we were able to get from it, we would have to give back to the Wild Spaces Public Places. I did have it arranged at the time where we had a public vendor that was making money, and they initially started, and then I don't know what happened. Things were going different that way, and I decided to retire. So I wasn't really happy the way things went. That place has an incredible opportunity to make money. You know, I know Jim Woods did for years. It's known across the world. I still get emails from people. So if we could ever find a way to get a public vendor or a private vendor to come in there and turn that back into a canoe place, it would be phenomenal. Now, on the flip side, being a firefighter, I'm also a former employee of Alachua County. One of the questions we had that Mr. Bloodworth mentioned, that our employees that may or may not have a job, many of us that have previously worked at the county would not be employed. And we have several of us that have left the county to come here for greener pastures and would not be able to go back to the county. So we have a lot of employees that work for other departments or have worked for other departments that would not. And what Mr. Alderman said is absolutely true. I mean, this morning, what I've noticed with the new Station 21, they've cut down on our response times on the interstate. And I was actually one of the first volunteers, way back when we ran a single-man truck. I was a single volunteer, then I went part-time, then I went full-time, and then I retired here. And now I'm back to being a volunteer. So I've been here 23 years, something like that, as a firefighter for the High Springs. So, I got to see us grow. And like he said, every 3 to 5 years, we're doing this crunch, before we were ALS. So we're somewhere that is amazing for the city. We are offering a service that I have never been able to see. We are out in the community. It's incredible. I mean, I hope we can get past this crunch, because these people right here are amazing. I mean, I know so many of them. I've been to their children. I've been to their families, their aunts, their uncles, their grandparents. I mean, this is an awesome town.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you for your service, too.
No, praise God.
Hi, David Gardner. I'm a resident. Jeremy, I have a question for you. You went real fast, and I understand you had to do that. To make us whole again, what is going to be the average? Is it a monthly or yearly cost of a resident? Is it $300 and some dollars? Is that what it is?
So can you go to that slide, Kevin? The end of scenario 7.
And would it be based on the price of
Sure.
the house or the real estate, like taxes are, or would
Well,
it just be a?
There's a couple different variables in there to answer your question. So we have it's way at the end. Before the questions, yeah, you went too far, I'm sorry. Right, up, right there. Yep. So you have in the slide before that, there's 2 slides, and it depends on what the commission wants to do, on what it's going to do to affect your monthly or your annual bill. So each of these scenarios has a monthly cost and then a total annual cost. So if you eliminate the fire department, it's going to cost you an additional $359 by our estimate because of the increase in fire assessment, and we have a sewer increase. That sewer increase of $725 takes care of $1325 takes care of half the deficit. Kevin, would you mind, Mayor's okay? We pause this time since
Absolutely,
I'm
pause it.
taking up all this time. I'm sorry. So $1325, we have to do a sewer rate increase. We haven't done it in years, and we're way behind. $1325 is a big increase. That only covers half of the deficit. So if we cover half the deficit, we still got to find the other half, which is about $310,000. So if you look at the different scenarios at the bottom, you'll see what it will cost you monthly and what the total annual will cost. So if you go one more slide, Kevin. So I think to your point is if we didn't want to cut anything and we want to keep the services the way it is, we'll have to increase the sewer rate to $24.50, and we'll have to increase your taxes by 1/8 of a mil, which I think we figured out, how much was that a month? 1/8 of a mil. Oh, it depends. So their millage goes off the property of your house. So,
Yeah,
So
the-
is that based on a $300,000 house?
yes, that's correct. That's if we went up
300,000,
an
yep.
eighth of a mil and you had a $300,000 taxable value that
So
was taxed on.
$331 a year,
correct.
and that would help.
That
Correct.
would make us whole.
Okay, great,
Great,
thanks.
thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Bloodsworth. This isn't easy for me to do. I don't talk in front of big crowds. I had 3 things I was going to talk about, but I'm going to focus on trash. Trash is a joke. We have 3 bags of trash that we're paying $40 a month for, and the services, I'm tired of calling. Now I just take it to the dump because it's a waste of time. Neighbors, same thing. I'm a resident, I'm a business owner, I'm also one of the volunteer firefighters with the fire department. The reason I'm up here is because I want to tell you that our fire department is just a little bit more than individuals. My son has been with them since he was 14 years old, volunteering, and yes, I'm passionate about it. He is the first course completer at Lofton High School. He went through the fire EMS program, got his fire certificate, got his EMT certificate. He's been with them since he's 14 years old, and he is here right now. If you get rid of the fire department or even cut it, you're getting rid of, Mr. Bloodsworth and I have talked. I have talked out every orifice I can to convince him why he needs to leave High Springs Fire Department, because he can make more money. He has more opportunities. But his thing is, this is my community. He responds at 3 a.m., 3 p.m., when we're at the house trying to have family time. If you get rid of the fire department, you're getting rid of a citizen. You're getting rid of someone who at 4 a.m. was riding a bus 2 hours to go to Lofton High School and 2 hours in the evening to do the same thing. Go work all night, do his homework, and then go to be a volunteer or explorer. Our fire department is not just a fire department. It's a family, it's community, it's someone who would much rather go for less money and struggle, but take care of his community.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mark Stevens, and I'm a resident. We've been here for 20 years, and one of the reasons when we moved from Pennsylvania down here and got to know the community the way we did was because of our police force and because of our fire department. This is such a wonderful city, and it would be a shame to price people actually out of High Springs, where they would move to another place where it was less expensive for them to live, okay? So cutting the police department or fire department, I'm completely against. And you know, I think maybe if you ask for volunteers, you know, there's a lot of people, I volunteered for the last 4 years. Well, I didn't volunteer, I just went and did it. I cut the grass out by Post Springs Road. And, you know, a lot of people can go out and do stuff and you know, go out and pick up garbage. I know we have people who are in community service who could go out and do stuff like that. You know, cut what you need to cut, sell what you need to sell. But please don't touch our police department or fire department. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. It's Mark Robinson. I live here. I don't think anybody wants to cut the fire department. I mean, you can take a vote real quick if you want to. I don't think that's the case, because what you're missing in that is your homeowners fees are going to, homeowners insurance is going to go up. You're not going to save any money. And my diligent notes tells me that, I mean, $331.50, nobody wants to pay the extra. But nobody's going to give up the services either. I know there's hard decisions to be made, and a lot of things were brought up. There were, you know, drops in the bucket. There are a lot of drops in the bucket that can be recovered. I know I saw where you'd written something to the Alachua County about the cut in the fire, in our, what we've been receiving from the fire department. Have they responded to that? So they're basing the less money on a fictitious amount that they think we're going to use versus factual amount. I can see them waiting until the end of the year and saying, okay, we used you this much less, so here's how much you get. You know, right now they're basing it on a fictitious guess. But, you know, if it's up to me, I'm retired on fixed income, but if it's $30 a month, or lose your fire department, or you lose your police department, and I live on 236 by the school, where all the police sit in the afternoon, so all the kids are safe, and you don't have to say breaking news, shooting at the High Springs Community School, because it's, you know, such a presence there. You know, one question: if we're struggling so much with the sewer, why are we continuing to add to sewers? I mean, I live on the side of 236, which is not getting added to sewer, but the other side is getting added to sewer. Is that going to help the situation, or add more capacity to a situation where it sounds like to me people being added to sewer is costing us money, not helping the situation?
That's a great question. So, it's okay, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, go ahead. I
So-
think you're going to say the exact same thing I was.
So when your sewer capacity, you can only treat so much sewage.
Right.
And when that capacity gets up to 80%, you need to start looking at a second plant. We got an additional, I don't remember how many gallons, but they knew we were building a second plant and they gave us. We are over capacity for one plant,
Right.
so we have two. So we have capacity. We have a lot of capacity now that we have a second plant. We are not putting more, as we add to the sewer system, we are only adding gravity. The only time we would add another grinder system is if you bought an existing lot on on that line.
Yes.
I wasn't here in 2003, but asking around, they said that they went with the grinder pump because it was a cheaper option. As we see, sometimes the cheaper option ends up being the most expensive.
Sure. Okay, so I hear a whole lot of, I mean, we got to solve this and not kick the can down the road, and I agree with that, but we can't just solve the problem now and then eliminate, and then quit thinking about how we can do better from other. When I watched online, we were discussing things like, okay, you pay your water bill and your credit with your credit card. Okay, you know, so say it puts 1% in my pocket, but you pay 3%. Everybody else is passing that fee along. It ought to be passed along. You can, you know, put it on your debit card, it's free. Put it on your credit card, we're going to raise it 3%. I was, you know, in that conversation, I heard how much would add if we charge, you know, cut off and cut on fees. If people get their services cut off, we're talking about eliminating the fire department, the police department, and people to get the water cut off aren't paying a fee to get it turned back on, or paying $50. I mean, those things are things that I view that I think going down the road we can make it. Hopefully, we don't have to sit here next year.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Robinson, if I could, I'll just let you know that if I don't hear from them by tomorrow, they'll be hearing from me again.
Lanier Smith, resident here in High Springs. You know, for those people that rent in town, I rent a place that I probably could have paid for twice. I've been here 15 years in the same house, and it's not going to matter. Whatever decision you make, it's going to go to somebody that doesn't even live here, and they're going to pass it on in my rent, and I'm going to pay it. So either way, I think it's unfortunate we're here. I think it has been kicked down the road for as long as I've been here. I appreciate the fact that y'all are really trying to do something about it. I appreciate more than that the people that come to the meetings and pay attention to how we got here. With regard to the police department, the fire department, I have just about 50% of the people in this room are in my cell phone. I don't have to call them, I text, I keep my eyes open. Just this weekend, we had a situation where there was a hazard, or it could be a hazard, and Jason was my first text, Chief Shepard was my second, and you know, we all look out for one another. If ASO comes in here as our police department, you talked about Bridlewood opening up, yeah, that's going to be more revenue coming in. That's also going to be more people. This man over here has got this town locked down tight. We don't have the trouble that we had. I live very close to 340. Y'all know where I live. And, man, it's a zoo down there sometimes. And I appreciate the week that the police department and the fire department and volunteers from everywhere got together and pretty much put the word out. We're not going to have this in our town. And that's what we're all about. So I know that whatever decisions are made will be made in the best of the community. The little drops in the bucket, I'm used to that. You know, they do go a lot further what most people say, but I want to say thank you. So, and I'm here to help. So, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Tom Hewlett from High Springs, and I wanted to talk about our waste treatment plant. I think we got a source of revenue there that we could use. I put money into a porta potty business, and they have to move that poo, and it has to go somewhere, and they only have one place in all of this area, not just Alachua County, but Gilchrist and around. And it's overused, and they have to actually store their stuff and wait until they can use it. And we have excess room right now because we don't have hookups for it. And they will pay good money to put their poo in your waste treatment plant. We just need to set it up. And it's a continuous source until maybe we do get lots of houses and we do get them all hooked up and we can cut it off anytime we want. But I think you can make a lot of money that way. Thank you.
Yeah, we need to definitely look into that. 'Cause what are we, 60, or what are we, filling 60% right now, and we have 40% still, or able? Am I right on that? 40% still available? We're at 60, right? Yeah, so we got 40% still available. That's a great idea.
My name is Sandy Gardner, and I'm a resident. I don't think that you guys, I think all of you are underestimating the people of this town. I think majority would like to keep it the way it is. That's why we live here. That's why I live here. I'm understanding that that's why a lot of people live here. And so we need to work it out in another way. And if it means paying, what do you say? $300 a year more on a basis of $24.50 a month. I don't think, I can't imagine anybody wanting to change this town and not pay that money, instead of pay the money and keep things the way they are. This town is filled with people that love living here and are willing to sacrifice for it, if you'll just ask. I'm from Boston, so I'm into marathons. So I'm thinking, why don't we have a marathon, an annual marathon? Maybe every year it'll get bigger. Make your entry fee $75 to begin with. We have a hill on the other side of 441. We could run a great marathon in this town. We've got dirt roads. We could put on a heck of a marathon, and we could make it a big thing. There's other things we can do. We can I don't know, raise money, have something going on every year for the fire department, just something, a money raiser just strictly for the fire department. Maybe a hose contest, I don't know, but we can come up with something, okay? Let's work on alternatives instead of.
Thank you. I can tell you, I don't think any commissioner up here would feel good. And no, I don't think anybody wants to mumble the getting rid of any services, especially first responder. And quite frankly, as one myself, I don't know how I'd look myself in the mirror tomorrow if I started getting rid of first responders. So
Look, we don't underestimate our citizens.
No, at all.
Half of us grew up here in High Springs,
That's right.
so look, it's our home.
Yeah, and we want this to be absolutely worked out, but we want everybody to understand the gravity of it. And I think sometimes maybe we haven't done a great job before of getting the information out to tell you why things are going up and why the price needs to go up. And now that people are hearing, hey, look, okay, if the price doesn't go up, this place will look different. It's nicer to hear people say, hey, I don't mind paying the money, because I believe we had, once the fire assessment went out, there was a bunch of emails and everything that came in that people were pretty upset and pretty pissed off that it was going up $27, excuse me. But now that we hear about, well, it's $27, so it's no fire department, all of a sudden $27 doesn't look like a big deal. And so I think it's very important that people understand, hey, when we make these rates increase, it is certainly not because we're just filling our pockets up here. You can look at the budget and tell there's not a whole lot of overfill here. There's not a whole lot of spillage. And we've cleaned up a lot of that, and I think it's been a testament to Manager Marshall coming in and taking on this thing. So I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate your comments. Ma'am, go ahead.
I'm Veronica Tyler. Everyone knows me as Landy and Turk's mom. And everyone knows Turk. I want to thank the police department for handling that. And the fire department, we do need our fire department. My mom passed away, but they was always there, helping me pick my mom up off the floor, everything. They was really there. Our police department, don't y'all hire nobody else. We don't need any more officers in an area with 2 traffic lights. That is so unnecessary. It is ridiculous. We don't need not another police officer. Everybody family here, you grew up here and everything. Don't y'all hire not another one. Now. Because they come in here and then they think we Waldo, Florida. No, sirree. We don't need it. That's where the money going. And y'all got that old nice, fancy old fire department over there. Y'all don't even want to let nobody in there. But I'm coming over there because I got to see what we paying for. And I'm on a fixed income. My water bill already $100 a month. No, sirree. My son even fell in the septic tank because a tree limb hit on that little green part and broke it. I asked the city over and over again to come and get it. They took their little funky little time, but it took them, my son to fall, because he's partially blind, got a prosthetic eye. He fell in there. That was, and I could have got y'all good, but God. But God. But again, that's all I'm going to say. And yes, I am Turk's mom. Turk is in a place I know where he at all times. Thank you, Antoine. Chief Shepherd. But don't you hire nobody else. And I meant that. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I recommend we listen to one more speaker, and then we got to close for your commission meeting and knock that out, and then I would say we reopen this at the end.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Brandon Williams. I'm a resident of High Springs, Florida. I'm coming to speak as a parent, as a mother. About 7 years ago, my son suffered from severe seizures and asthma. And this particular night, I want you guys to imagine, is where I learned how important it was to have fire emergency services here. I was on the phone with 911 at dispatch at the county, and I was saying, what's taking him so long? What's taking him so long? His heart rate was through the roof. His oxygen levels was slim to none. My brown-skinned son was turning blue. Fast forward a little bit, we are hearing people saying, oh, there's a fire in town. No, the ambulance, I learned, was on another call in High Springs. The ambulance in Jonesville was on another call. The ambulance on this side of the county was on another call. The one in Alachua was on another call. It was a paramedic and EMT, the other fire trucks that come through, that saved my son till an ambulance from Jonesville could arrive. So we cut down the staffing. We're talking about a firefighter, but a firefighter is also a paramedic. A firefighter is also an EMT. A firefighter, if you cut the staffing down, my son was in ICU, pediatric ICU, place I never want to go back again for an entire week. My son came out of the ICU. My son is a senior in Santa Fe High School. All brain functioning is fine. My son is taking all AP classes. I say this to say that. There were parents in there, or their kids were coding. Mine didn't code because of that fire department. I love the outdoors. I travel around Gilchrist County, Union, Columbia, Alachua County, 5 acres plus. It's a hobby. I've been doing it forever. I love outskirts properties, but I won't do it because I know the services I will not get the same if I'm in the town of High Springs. As it pertains to our police department, they are valued and they are needed in the sense of our safety. I grew up here my entire life. I get the local paper from where my parents are from in South Carolina. I've used to live in other areas as well before I moved back home. And as an educator, and as a dean at a high school, there's a difference of things that we have to deal with that we don't deal with because of what we have here in this town. So the events they do matter. They're growing up, want to become something. It matters from the seats that you all are sitting in, from what they do. So even if we cut their staffing down, that still would hurt us. And I really feel if my son was born in this day and time 2 years later, he may not have been here if it wasn't for them. So I'm forever grateful, and I just wanted to make that clear. I understand money is tight, and I have empathy, and I know a lot of people on set incomes and things, and the cost of groceries, everything is going up, and this is the worst time for things to go up. But what is the value of a life? So that's where we have to pull resources, not just to help other people as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, it's 6:20. We need to close this and do a 10-minute recess and go on with the commission meeting. But before closing, I want to say is to the communities, when I started this, one of the things that I promised this community was I would run this position as transparent as I can. I think tonight you saw unbiased, data-driven numbers. I didn't take public impact. I didn't consider political impact. I gave you raw data. And that is my promise to the city is we will hit these problems. I'll take it right on the chin, but we will do it in a transparent manner so you understand where your money is being spent and how is it being sent, because you get a say in that as well. So I hope tonight's presentation opened you. Thank you. And again, we may not fix this tonight, but we need to no longer put Band-Aids on and make real steps to getting the physical health of this city back to where it needs to be. Thank you for taking the time. Really appreciate the community coming out. And it's up to you, Mr. Mayor.
I got one comment. Mr. Marshall, thank you. This is the video you put out, had over 5,000 views in a few hours. Kevin, thank you for helping with that. The staff here is fantastic, and it's brought this community together in this room, and it's allowing us to have good conversations. So thank you.
I agree with that.
Will we reconvene this after if people want to speak, will we reconvene the budget workshop after our commission meeting?
What about they just speak and we shorten the time to 3 minutes on the public comment
Well,
during the
they
meeting
might
and
want
let
to
them
know
go?
that if they're leaving.
What we
now.
might do, I think what we will do is if people want to speak more on this, once we reconvene the commission meeting, what I'll do on or what we can do and decide to do is on comments for citizen comment that's not normally on the agenda. This item is not on the agenda, so what we'll do is open that up for 3 minutes to let everyone get through. And then if we feel at the end of it that we want more time to sit and talk, we'll open it back up. But I want to hear from everybody who wants to speak. So we'll do that. And right now I'll entertain a motion to temporarily adjourn the budget workshop.
So
He is. Wayne, will you do our invocation? Good evening, good evening. We're going to get back started on our, this is our city commission meeting on August 21st, 2025. Can I get a call to order and roll call, please? Here.
He's here. I just think he stepped out for a second.
Here.
Here.
Okay, and we'll have our.
Oh, you didn't call me.
Wayne.
I made it. I'm here.
Uh-oh, dog fiasco. We got it under control, though. Well, now that Vice Mayor Miller's back, he's going to grace us with his invocation this evening and then followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, we come to you as humble as we know how, God, saying thank you for this meeting on tonight. Father, we ask that you lead, guide us in the right direction. Order our footsteps in your word, God, and continue to let us unite as one, to come on one accord, to make decisions that are best for the city. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll do a approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the amended agenda as presented.
And that is with removing item 5 and adding Chief Theus as a special presentation.
Removing
Second.
5?
Removing 5.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Sorry, it's right there. I should have said it earlier. It got away from me. You still
So
okay
should I
with that?
amend my motion to
Yes,
approve the
please.
amended agenda as presented, removing item number 5 and adding a special presentation from County Fire Chief Theus?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, approval of consent agendas, items 1 through 4.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve consent agenda items 1 through 4.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. And we will have a special presentation from Chief Theus.
Mr. Mayor, for the public to know, I wanted to recognize Chief Theus has been instrumental in getting me information. I've called him, texted him. He's always made himself available, and I appreciate that, Chief. Also, he's not going to say it, but I'll say it for him. He was recognized as Chief of the Year. So congrats on that award.
Well, that's a great way to start. So Harold Theus, Chief of Alachua County Fire Rescue. First of all, Mr. Mayor and board members, thank you for the opportunity to have a discussion with y'all tonight. Our intent as the county and Alachua County Fire Rescue is not to assume services in the city of High Springs. We would much rather you have your own fire department here. We have had a great relationship over the 40-some-odd years that Alachua County Fire Rescue has been providing fire protection in the unincorporated areas with the historic city of High Springs for over 100 years, right? And so our being here tonight is not a signal that we want to take over fire services here. We are here to assist in any way that we can, and we've attempted to provide that assistance for a number of years. Since my tenure as fire chief, we've assisted y'all in 2019 with becoming Advanced Life support for Advanced Life services for your engine companies and your fire stations. We've also assisted with your fire prevention practices in a time of need that y'all had. And we do a lot with cooperation of City of High Springs Fire Department with in-kind services where we assist y'all as much as we can. What has come to issue as of late has been the funding for the City of High Springs Fire Department. We developed in 2019 a funding methodology that all the municipalities agreed with and the county sponsored. And the funding methodology we came up with is a cost per call funding methodology. And we did that because for years prior, the county found itself negotiating with independent municipalities year over year over year. And as La Crosse got an extra $50,000, then Melrose would want an extra $50,000, and Micanopy would want $75,000. And we ended up in this constant state of negotiations, and really with no rhyme or reason other than municipalities coming to us or departments coming to us saying that they need more money to keep their fire services afloat. And so we developed this cost per call funding methodology. The original cost per call was somewhere around $713 per call. And that was formulated by looking at every department's budget and the number of calls. It included Alachua County's budget, it included your budget, every fire department within the county, with the exception of the city of Gainesville, that's under a separate budget. We do pay them cost per call. But we looked at that and we developed a cost per call that the cost that it takes for you to provide that service. Each year that increased by CPI. And this last year, that cost was $865 per call. So we began the conversations with previous staff of High Springs, city manager level and fire chief level, prior to the city staff that you have today, on what will happen if Station 21 moves farther west. We had been in the Alachua station for as long as I've been with the department, for 31 years. It was a dilapidated station that was in severe need of replacement and repair. We knew that the city of Alachua, which we contract with, we have an agreement with them, we provide all their services in the city of Alachua, was moving farther out west. That's where the growth was taking place. We also knew that we needed to be closer to the interstate than what we were. Simultaneously, we opened up Station 25 in the Tech City area to cover that Hague Gap area that we had between the city of Alachua and the city of Gainesville. And so when we opened up the Tech City station, we knew we had to be farther northwest than what we were currently. If not, we'd have an overlap of services. We were able to find property on 173rd Street. We had a very good cooperative deal with Tomoka Hills Farms. They sold us 2.2 acres of really nice real estate land for $45,000. And so we purchased that land and built the fire station. The years leading up to the completion of that fire station, again, prior to existing staff, we had the conversation that the cost per call methodology was going to impact High Springs' budget dramatically. We announced that over and over again. The last negotiations we had last year, I think it was the summer of 2024, was, I believe, the first time that your manager, Marshall, attended. He had just gotten hired. Everything was fresh and new, and he was really there trying to take it all in. Pretty much had developed the deal or the negotiations by that point. It was pretty much settled and done. And so we continued the cost per call methodology, but we agreed to do a 1-year agreement with that because we didn't know what the Alachua Fire Station was going to do to High Springs' funding. This year, fast forward, we opened that station towards the end of May. We looked at the June data. In fact, we had a meeting with High Springs May 29th to talk about the impact just within 2 weeks that we had been open. And it was recognized that it was about a call a day that was taking away from High Springs, that exchange. Now, the cost per call, City of High Springs pays us when we go into the city. The county pays High Springs when they come out into the county. So it's a reciprocal agreement. So we knew early on that there was going to be some impact. Your city manager attempted to negotiate with us kind of a soft landing, is what we described it as, where we would be able to provide some funding over and above the cost per call for this year, but then move that, the true cost per call to next year. I had conversations with staff at county management. There was concerns and are concerns about doing any type of floating money that is not directly attributable to the cost per call methodology. And quite honestly, our fear is what the other municipalities will do and what they will think and what they will ask for in the process. And so for it to be straight across the line on a cost per call, we wanted to continue that methodology. I also wanted to touch base with you real quick on the fire assessment. There's been a lot of discussion about the fire assessment. Our fire department is funded, we have a split budget. Anything involving an ambulance or EMS services is funded by medical transport fees, ambulance transport fees, and general fund dollars. Anything involving fire, a fire engine, personnel costs, replacement costs, fire station costs, any of those things are funded 70% by our fire assessment fee. The remaining 30% are made up of sales taxes that contribute to the fund. And so we are heavily dependent upon the fire assessment, which is one reason why you see a difference in what your fire assessment rates are and ours. Also, what's different is the funding methodology of the fire assessment. Our fire assessment is built upon, and this year the board, I believe, they've moved forward with adopting what our rates are going to be, so I think it's fair to share what it is. It's public knowledge. It's about $132 for a parcel, and then it's $7.31 per $5,000 value of the improved parcel. And that's just value, like your appraised value that the property appraiser's office records. And so what that creates is the larger the value the piece of property is, the home or the business, the more fire assessment fee they pay. The county commission was very, really wanted a fire assessment that was less regressive. If your house or home had a lesser value, they believed that you should pay less in fire assessment than one that had a greater value of home. That also translates over into commercial properties. Our fire assessment fee for commercial properties is not much, right? It's based upon the just value of the property. And so the methodologies are different. Now, we raise somewhere around how many millions of dollars in fire assessment fees? $22 million in fire assessment fees. And that covers the unincorporated area, the city of Alachua, Waldo, Hawthorne, and Archer, and Micanopy. All of those municipalities have agreed to enter into the fire assessment. And so that is how we are funded. So it looks a lot different than y'all's, because yours is a straight flat cost per home, and then I think it's a square footage rate for commercial property. So just some subtle differences there. You can look at two properties, one in the city of High Springs and one outside the city of High Springs, and they are charged differently, absolutely. Also keep in mind, we have a staff of 382 people and 330 people in operations. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, but finally, I'll say this in support of Chief Peters, the city manager. Your fire assessment fee, if you were to compare it to other municipalities, is very, very low for the service that you're providing. I think you mentioned earlier that a champagne service with a beer budget.
Champagne taste on a beer budget.
Champagne taste on a beer budget. And so you have a very low fire assessment when it comes to homeowners. Now, I know homeowners don't want to hear that, but that just is the truth of it all. Fire departments are very expensive. All across the state of Florida, all across the nation, you're seeing fire stations, especially small town fire departments, close because it is very expensive to run a fire department. And so those are some of the obstacles that I think that y'all are up against as a board. In closing, we're here to help any way that we can. We're here to help with advice, whatever we can do to try to help you. We do provide a lot of in-kind services, and so those things we would certainly continue to do as much as we possibly can. So I'm open to any questions that you may have.
Can you just not cut our fee down so much? Can maybe we work that out? Like,
Yeah.
if you don't want us, please don't buy us. You know what I mean? But cutting us down so far that's what has not helped us.
Yeah, and that is an estimate based upon 2 months of data since our station has been open on what we believe will transpire over the next year. Quite honestly, Mayor, that's a board-to-board discussion. I have authorization to work with inside the agreement that we have to work with. And so if there was a desire to do that, you certainly could reach out to the county commission with that request. I will tell you the position that it puts us in is that the unincorporated residents and those receiving direct related services from Alachua County Fire Rescue are the only ones paying into the fire assessment. And the fire assessment is what's funding the fire department. So you would be asking an unincorporated resident to contribute more for a High Springs Fire Department. And I think that's what runs into the conflict. I don't know if our fire assessment would be the account that money would come out of. It may come out of general fund dollars. But that's a decision that I think the county commission board would have to make.
That's definitely, I think, the conversation we need to have with them, for sure.
So, Mr. Mayor,
yeah, please.
My question, I just want to make sure, so as of right now with the 2-month study that you have, we're basically losing one call per day. at $865 a day.
That's correct.
Okay.
Chief Theus, if I may, Mr. Mayor, first of all, you look well. Welcome to High Springs. We're glad to have you here. And as you probably know, I did reach out to the county commission, and if I haven't heard back from them, I'll be happy to go to their next meeting. The issue for us here, the real rub for us, is we've already set our assessment fee, and we haven't raised our fire assessment since 2019, and we're just raising it for the first time now. We don't have an opportunity to react to that at this point. You know, does it need to go up next year? Maybe. But I think based on just a couple months of data, we really can't make that assessment fairly yet. What I did not anticipate was that Station 21 would be coming into the city limits. That makes sense. You want the closest station to respond. Absolutely. I hadn't anticipated that, though. That wasn't really part of my money matrix. And if you had been here earlier at our budget workshop, I think that you would have gotten a really, really sincere sense of how much this community loves their fire department, and how very, very determined they are to keep them. So it's not that I don't think we can work with the community to make that happen, but in terms of being able to react now, $103,000 to the county is not a ton. To us, it's a lot, you know, in this kind of a community. So I definitely will continue to reach out to the county commission in the hopes that we can just get a bridge year here, just get a full year's worth of data so that we can use that full year to actually calculate what is it going to cost. So that's kind of my position.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, what we do is every 4 months we settle up, and we do it based upon the previous 4 months of call data, and that's what we pay, and that's what we've done, you know, since 2019. And really, the rates have varied over the years. With the High Springs rate, you know, in 2019, the county was paying a flat fee of $185,000 to the city of High Springs, and at its peak, I believe it was fiscal year 24, it was $385,000. And so that number fluctuates based upon location of units, based upon annexations, based upon a lot of different variables. And so, you know, it's not that the county has changed the agreement and slashed the budget. It's that the circumstances have changed. Where apparatus is located has changed. And so all we can do is go by the cost per call of looking at the last 4 months. How many calls did you run in the county? How many calls did we run in the city? And then settling up. And so that's the format that we take in that.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask another question? In terms of your agreements with other municipalities, another small municipality that has their own fire department is Newberry, but you have a unit there, don't you? Don't you have an ambulance at their fire department?
We do.
So how is that agreement? So I guess your contract with Newberry is uniquely different than ours.
Again, the fire services for us, I know it sounds crazy, but the fire services for us are as much different than our ambulances and EMS. And so there is I think it's a gentleman's agreement that we have with Newberry about the housing of the rescue unit in that station. They built on an additional bay. Mm-hmm. They asked, this went back to, I think it was 2017 or 2018, that their board met with our commission. We had funding for an ambulance in the following fiscal year to put a new ambulance in service. And the two commissions got together, and we were directed that we would be placing a rescue unit in the town of Newberry. They had long response times for ambulances because Jonesville and Alachua was the closest ambulance to the Newberry area. And so they worked that out to where we were going to put an ambulance there. They were going to build a bay for that ambulance and house our crew there in quarters.
So then the agreement you have with Newberry is as much as would be the same?
It's exactly the same as the agreement with High Springs and the agreement with La Crosse.
Okay.
Any other questions, commissioners? Chief, thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. We have no unfinished business items. And we'll move on for citizen requests and comments for issues not on the agenda. Remember, these will be 3 minutes now instead of 5.
Mr. Mayor, I would just suggest taking a vote of the commission, since you're making a substantial change to how we normally run the meetings for purposes of those time limits. I think you've
Okay.
got a consensus based upon the discussion you all were having, but for purposes of keeping track, this is obviously a
Absolutely.
one-time change.
Can we specify that if it has to do with the budget, people who weren't able to speak, they have 3 minutes? If it's another item?
I wouldn't, simply because at that point, you're quashing First Amendment rights on the basis of speech
Oh, gotcha.
and
gotcha,
content.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll entertain a motion if that's the will of the commission to take from 5 down to 3, because I think we're going to have a lot of people who want to be heard.
Mr. Mayor, I think I make a motion that we move the time limit down to 3 minutes. for
Second.
each citizen.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say
Wait,
aye.
public comment. You've got a proposition on the floor. You got to allow
Okay.
public comment on it.
Let's do here public comment on us moving it from 5 minutes to 3, please.
David Lynch. So, I'm still concerned about our concrete streets, our historical concrete streets.
Mr. Lynch, I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is just a public comment on moving the time limit from 5 minutes down to 3. I apologize, sir.
Mayor, I believe that that's appropriate in this case, since you've got 2 meetings going on. I think it's the appropriate thing to do.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
You still comment on the
Yes, sir, we have now opened it up for public comment.
Oh.
You have 3 minutes, sir. Please state your name and.
Can we allow Mr. Lynch to come back up? 'Cause I think
Absolutely, sir, you're second in line.
Okay, our concrete streets are very beautiful, unique, historic. I beg the city manager and the commissioners not to pave over our concrete streets. So, the World Health Organization estimates that alcoholic beverages kill 7,000 people each day. So that's what the city manager and the commissioners are contributing to when they allow High Springs Brewing to use the High Springs name.
Thank you, Mr. Lynch.
How you doing today? My name is Thaddeus Price. I'm a resident up here for a long time, in and out. I served in Special Forces, moved on from there and worked in the state government. I applied for the position of city manager, however, you have a successor. I'd like to introduce, though, about your budget, the penny tax. Have you heard of the penny tax? It's a tax that improves your infrastructure, such as your police department, your fire department, and all. I recommend in your budget that y'all consider a penny tax. It don't work down south. It have worked in Kentucky. I don't know whether y'all consider that or not, but it sure bring in some revenue. And I thank you for your time and all.
Thank you,
very
sir. Mr. Manager, I don't think that's a bad idea. Can we look into that? We have one?
We have the local option gas tax for that's that slide that was the transportation.
I know that, but is there something we can add to?
I would have to research that.
Hi, my name is Sherman Young. This ain't gonna kind of go left, but I received this notice about this hearing, and my partial 4.43 acres is down, I guess, Railroad Avenue. It used to be 168th Lane. Well, somebody, I've checked with the county, property appraisers, everybody, and I was trying to figure out when did I become a resident of High Springs, Florida. I was always in the county. There's no annexation paperwork, it's none of that. But everything I do that I'm back remodeling my place, I have to go through the city of High Springs. And then I received this notice saying it's not a bill, but this is gonna be a future bill. And I've contacted High Springs. I've had my attorney, which he's a lawyer, but I had him contact the city attorney, and he was supposed to get back with him. He couldn't find anything. And it's almost like, I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but it's probably the people who did it are long gone. But I'm here today to ask you people to make it right. because my property is not in the city of High Springs. I love High Springs. I've coached here. Most people know me. I've done everything here, good and bad. But what I'm saying is, my property does not benefit me to be in the city of High Springs. And it's like I'm being railroaded. There's nobody on this commission that would have a question. They changed the address on the property. The city of High Springs did. Why, I don't know. How can you change it? I call hell getting my driver's license because the county log showed that the address was changed. How can you change the address on a partial? It wasn't split up, wasn't broke up. But this is what I've been going through. And then I was kind of chilled until I received this notice. So I need somebody's help. I need you guys to put somebody on it. Because, like I said, I love High Springs, but I love me a little bit more. You feel me? And now, I was approached by some people who have bought up High Springs in the last 7, 8 years about this piece of property. And it all went south after I had a conversation with them. You know what I mean? You don't know what I mean. But right now, 3 minutes, I need some help. As High Springs City Commission, what would you guys do? What can I do? I'm not trying to do legal nothing. I just want what's wrong made right.
So could you give me a call Monday?
And who are you?
I'm the city manager.
Okay. I didn't bring my glasses.
It's okay. Just call and ask for the city manager. I'll be here. I got a pretty open schedule Monday. I'll get your address. We'll look and see what happened or what can be done, and we'll get you more information
But
from there.
you're not familiar with this, Sherman Young? You haven't been contacted about this? You don't know anything about it? I never heard nothing.
Nothing.
All right. Jerry Marshall, right?
That's right. 2 L's.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Mayor.
sir.
Since I have been here, yes, you do need, I don't care what it takes, keep the City of High Springs Fire Department here.
Mr. Sherman, can we get your address?
Antoine, y'all, I ain't got nothing to do with that, but look, no, he good though. Best you could ever have.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Sherman, can we get your address?
Don't put on record that I said that, but he is truly the best. But yes, the City of High Springs Fire Department, everybody had their good and bad days, but I know people who have just driven in off of 27, you know what I mean?
Mr. Sherman, I'm sorry, but your
And it
time's
saved their
up.
life.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Need his address, Mr. Mayor.
Can you give your address?
Mr. Young, what's your address?
Which one? Oh, well, let me see.
Can you give them that piece of paper?
Well, you wanna know all the addresses?
Just the
Just
parcel
Hold on,
you're
we're
concerned
gonna
about.
get a copy of it. That way we can all get it.
2139 Northwest
Mr. Sherman, I'm sorry, but
21001 Northwest Railroad Avenue. And I couldn't get my mail in because my mail used to come from Alachua.
Mr. Sherman,
And then High Springs wouldn't break it down. So
thank you. I appreciate you coming, and we will help.
No, you don't appreciate me coming, but I appreciate
No,
you.
I do appreciate you coming.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to touch on the address because that was a county and High Springs joint effort because I was still delivering here in town when that took place. I hated it. But it was a quadrant system that was set up as the county courthouse is the center of our county and it spreads out. The city of High Springs had our own address. It just made a fluent address mechanism to go from the county center of Gainesville out to the county, same with any other unincorporated area. So that's when all that changed. I was included on that, out there where I'm at. Same thing, it's just probably a paper pushing issue with his.
High Springs started collecting taxes on my property taxes.
Sir.
All right. So to move this on, please give me a call Monday. I will personally look into it.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, my Lord.
Happens.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I speak now? So my name is Eva Werner, esteemed Mr. Mayor and Commissioners and City Manager of High Springs. I am going to talk about two things. First, really briefly, and I think you may find it maybe surprising, but it's a positive thing. And then second, I would like to address something about the fire department. However, it cuts my time into 3 minutes, so I have to speed up. I represent Northwest 190th Avenue community of High Springs. We mean to officially thank the Public Works Director, Mr. Jason Keitel, for significantly improving the state of our road. Some of the homeowners live on the street for more than 30 and even 50 years, and for this long, they had to endure massive clouds of dust generated by the passing cars, and even worse, the trucks. We previously spoke to the city officials here who could have done something about the road, but unfortunately, they did not. 3 days after I talked to Mr. Keitel, he personally came to our location, inspected the problem, and acknowledged it. Within 3 weeks, the road was covered with the asphalt pellets, which significantly cut down on the sand dust. So following, we are hopeful to be in line to have it permanently asphalted as the grant money becomes available, hopefully in the short future. We are very grateful for Mr. Keitel's speedy actions that helped our community and removed the significant, to the significant extent, the health threats caused by the vehicle-generated dust clouds. Thank you, Mr. Keitel, for the job well done. So that was the first part. The second part, I would like to talk off the cuff, so forgive me for any inconsistencies, but I am going to absolutely support firefighters staying here in High Springs. Why? I am the resident of High Springs for 33 years. In this time period, I've experienced in the vicinity, or my immediate vicinity of my property, 3 fires. One next to the left, the fire burned the entire house, had to be replaced. Across from my property, there was a fire, and I called the firefighters to come, and they came and saved the house while the barn burned down to a crisp. Then there was lightning to the house behind me that jumped from the tree onto the house. So these were 3 fire-related incidences. On top of that, if you maybe remember, all the community was here to try to remove. Oops, can I have a little bit more?
I'm sorry, ma'am. We're trying to keep it consistent.
Can I
I'm
speak
sorry.
the second time?
No.
Just one sentence.
No, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hello, my name is Eugene Kelly. I'm here representing Living Hope in Christ Outreach Ministry. I want to know why the water bill is so high. It jumped from $92 to $141. I don't know why, and I would like to know why.
All right, sir. Kevin, you can pull up that PowerPoint. I will try to talk fast. So your bill for water is not just for water. So that encompasses water, wastewater, and solid waste. So you're paying 3 bills in one payment. So if we go all the way to the end, sewer budget, all the way to the end. Very last slides, like 7 slides. Go to the first one, right? I think it's 79. So there's your one more up. So this is the stuff that costs. I'm just going to use the sewer for an example. Same as for water and wastewater. So we have money that comes in, but we got to pay staff and whatnot to come out. So were you here for the budget workshop, sir?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, so under the sewer budget, we have a bunch of expenses. About 60% of it goes out before we even touch a drop of water. We have a loan payment, we have a mower payment, we have grinder pumps and whatnot. This sewer system that we run is very expensive, and it's failing. So we have the prices. So the prices of personnel, insurance, and everything continues to rise every year. And with that, we have to raise the rates. We haven't raised like the sewer rate since 2019, I think. And we're catching it up. The utilities are expensive in High Springs, and it just continues to go up.
Yeah, what I'm saying, we just there about 4 hours on Sunday and 1 hour on a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, why the water bill is just so high?
Do you have an irrigation meter?
Irrigation.
Do you
No,
have
we
an
don't.
irrigation meter?
No, we don't.
So you need to look into getting an irrigation meter. So we have two types of water. We have your regular drinking water, and then we have, I think it's reclaimed water for irrigation. If you have an irrigation meter, that water that you're using to water with will go through your irrigation meter, and it's a much lower cost than what you're using. What you're using, if you're just using the same water and you water your lawn, then you're paying the same amount as your drinking water. You should take a look and get a hold of us, and we'll see what it will cost to put in an irrigation meter, and you'll have a much lower cost of water. Does that answer your question, sir?
You say put in a irrigation meter, what
Yes.
is that?
It's a separate meter that measures the water that goes through your irrigation system instead of your drinking water system.
We ain't got no irrigation there.
So did it go up? 1 month was 92, and then the next month, did it just happen this month?
Been like that for the last 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, you probably got a leak somewhere.
There ain't no leak there.
Okay, give us a call on Monday, and we'll get you directed to the right people that can take a look at that and really dive into it.
So you can call my office and we'll get you down to utility billing. These AMI meters can tell if you have a leak between the meter in your house, which you wouldn't know because it's in the pipe underground. And if your water is leaking out, you're paying for that water. That's not even making it to your house. So we'll take a look at your last 3 months at your water usage and see if you have a leak, or maybe we can try to figure out what's going on and why you have the raise in your bill. Give us a call Monday and ask for utility billing, or again, ask for me and I'll help you out.
Can I comment on this?
Okay.
I will say this is a common thing that I have been hearing in the community. Me personally, about 3 months ago, I went from 74 to 104, and I'm by myself. I'm always at the barbershop. My barbershop water bill is actually cheaper, which I use a lot more water because it's 2 of us than at home. So I'm not sure what's going on, but there's been a common increase for the last 3 months.
Mr. Mayor, anytime anybody has that happen, you need to call in and let our billing office know. We have the ability to look at your usage and we can see if there's a leak or not. And that will tell us when the higher bill started, and you can see if there's a pattern like you have a leak. So that's a really easy thing to look at. If you want to give us your address again at the church. It's for your church, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's your address there?
23047 Northwest. Okay, that's
Yeah.
it. High Spring.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll look into that, and I can ask the billing department to let you know on Monday. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you give her your phone number so we can call you back after we look at it? Make sure she has your name and phone number, sir. Thank you.
My
No, don't say it in public. I don't want everybody to know. I just go
You
right
just
over
walk
to
down and give it to her.
Just walk right down and give it to her. I'll be calling you late in the evening. You give me your number. I'm telling you.
Thank you, sir. Speaking of water, we got some coming. Yes, ma'am, please. Yes, ma'am, pull it down to you if you need to.
Sorry about that. My name is Christina. I am a daughter of a firefighter. I'm a wife of a firefighter. I am a sister of a firefighter and a mother of a firefighter. So as we all saw in the meeting, I don't think anybody wants to do anything by getting rid of the fire department or minimizing it or anything. But there are very hard decisions that need to be made. With Alachua County, 2 months data is not enough. That's absurd. Him coming in here, I'm sorry, it just really ticked me off. It's not enough. So that's not enough data. Moving forward, you guys still have to make a decision. I worked for the state of Florida for 16 years for DCF, and for 12 of those years, I did not get one raise. Nothing at all. I did my job because I love my job. My son's a firefighter. I know he needs money, but he loves the job. He's not here because of the money. He's here because of the community. I don't understand why we can't maybe look at something a little bit differently and try to combine some of the options you guys have come up with. So maybe do 1 year or 2 years of no raise. Do selling of the properties to try to boost that general fund. I don't really like the idea of that guy with the poop stuff. That's my backyard. This literally is my backyard. But if that's gonna generate some revenue, then maybe you guys need to look into that also. It's that penny stuff that goes all the way around that I really think you did a great job and you've got great options here. But I think that you may need to just try to look at multiple things at the same time to be able to combat this and then make a decision and move forward. Because if Alachua County is going to make that decision and charge you guys or take away that money, we're really going to be in a worse situation later. So we need to jump on this now and then look at all of your avenues and maybe do a little bit of each one. I'm not a finance major. That's not my background. My background is operations management. Y'all need to jump on this, and you need to jump now, and you need to work together to do that with the community. Again, the other lady that came up had a great idea. Marathons, doing stuff like that. Our community is wonderful together. Look at all the different things that we do. When they know it, I know for a fact for me, I'll pay the full amount. I don't mind it. I can do that. My mother has a house in High Springs. She's on a fixed budget. This gentleman over here is on a fixed budget. They can't do that. So we can't just assume that let's not do anything and let's just, charge the full fee and it'll be okay. Not everybody can do that. You're really going to hurt them. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Is that the city manager that left?
Yes, ma'am.
I need to be here for this.
Oh.
Two quick questions. The notice date on what we are here for, the budget thing or the fire thing, is date July 24th. We got these yesterday in the mail. I don't know who's in charge of getting this out to the people, but it needs to be done sooner. I know several people that would have come had they gotten this sooner, but couldn't. And the other thing has nothing to do with the fire, but and I don't remember what year it was, when all residents in the city of High Springs were required to pay for garbage pickup. When we first moved here, it wasn't a requirement. You could have garbage pickup if you wanted it, or you could drive just a couple miles down the road and take your trash there, which is what I did. Because at the time, it showed up on our property taxes. It has been since deleted, but I know we're still paying for that. Okay, so I went ahead and paid it, $50 deposit, and then because we were required, they said you would still have to pay the monthly fee whether you put trash at the road or not. But they said that the $50 deposit, once you had 12 consecutive months, and I got a letter for this. I wish I'd have brought it tonight. I have it at home if anybody wants to see it, but I did bring it and show it to the ladies downstairs. 12 months, uninterrupted payments, no late payments or anything. After 12 months of that, you would get your $50 back. I took the letter with the letterhead of High Springs to the ladies downstairs on the 12th month. Said, okay, I'd like to get my $50 deposit back. They looked at me like I was stupid, that I had forged the letterhead from High Springs, said, forge this letter. Well, we don't know what this is. Does anybody know what this is? Where did this come from? Nobody knew. And so I asked them, I says, okay, so how do I get my $50 back? Well, if you move. I'm like, okay, what if I don't move? What if I die here? My husband just died in February. I'm the only resident here now. So do I have to die? And then who gets my $50? But I can show you the letter. I've got it at home in my file if anybody wants to see it. But
When did you get that letter?
I don't remember, whatever year that the city required everybody in High Springs to pay for garbage service, whatever year that was, it was 12 months from that. So if you know what year that was.
I don't know what year that we went to that. It's been like that since I've been on the commission. Has it been like that since you've been on?
Well, I don't imagine any of you are going to
Ma'am?
know that.
Oh, no, I didn't know. I'd love to see it, though.
Do you have a way to scanning that letter to me? Do you have a way of scanning and emailing that
I'll
to
bring
me?
it to your office.
That's
'cause
fine.
I-
I'll
because,
be here all day
Like
Monday.
I said, they all thought I was nuts down
Nope.
there.
I'll take a look
They
at it.
didn't, you know, I mean.
So to be honest, and I don't mean it to sound any which way, I have
Yeah.
no idea what you're talking about. So let's take a
I
look at
know.
that letter
They
and we will
didn't.
figure it out together Monday. I will be here. I got a meeting in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime after 10 o'clock, I'll be here all day. Let's sit down, we'll figure,
I asked those ladies where you are
I'm
in the building.
right here in
Right
this,
upstairs.
right
Oh,
here.
so I come upstairs.
Just come
Okay.
up the
Yes,
elevator,
ma'am.
I'll be right there.
I mean, it's not, the $50 is not killing me. It's just, and I know I couldn't have been the only person in High Springs
Nope.
that got the letter.
I just have no idea what this letter says. Let's take a look at that. That'll be the first step, and then
Okay.
if there's something we can do, I will do it. And if I can't, I'll explain to you why.
Okay, okay.
Great.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Ma'am, what's your name? Ma'am, what's your name?
Oh, I'm sorry, DJ Fennessy.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Name's Jared Howard, resident of High Springs. Attended the budget workshop earlier and a couple weeks ago. A few things I want to address that, in my opinion, is, Vice Mayor Miller, you made a comment about taking the trash money and getting a different service. Well, when you do that, you're probably going to have to bid that out, and get so your contract, your $200,000 savings may go away because the likelihood of you getting the same price that you got whenever that contract was bid out and we went with a different company probably won't be there, so that $200,000 savings may not be there. Grinder pumps. Everybody's mentioned that we need to rip the Band-Aid off. This is going to hurt. The fire chief, when he was up here earlier, he said, with the calls, we got half the people paying for this half, paying for a whole. Well, that's what we're doing with the grinder pumps. I believe in your thing we did a couple weeks ago, you said there's 1,900 residents on the sewer system. Half of those are grinder pumps, the other half isn't. The other half of us, I'm in that other half that isn't. If I've got a problem with my sewer line, I pay for it. And my problem goes from the gravity line that goes to the lift station. From that gravity line to my house is my problem. Should be the same way with the grinder folks. Sorry, it's just the way it is. That's $360,000 a year savings. The other thing, the idea the gentleman come up earlier with septic tank, hauling septic and porta potty, I would really talk that over with your plant operators first. That not such a great idea. You're taking a bunch of dead bugs, dead bacteria, and you're taking it and you're putting it in your system. The likelihood that the chemicals and stuff that they put in there could kill your system as well, then you got other problems. So I would really look at that. So I'm short and quick. Again, Jared Howard, y'all have a good day. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Lanier Smith, High Springs resident. Just to add, the gentleman spoke about the 1 cent tax, and everybody was like, the light came on. I actually own property in Columbia County, and the commission there held a meeting down in Mason City actually in all the little districts, and a meeting much like we're having tonight. And they proposed a 1 cent tax. They did put a notice out about it that was pretty explanatory, explained a lot of it up front. There was a good turnout, at least in my district, and they did that 1 cent fuel tax. I don't know if it was 1 cent, 2 cents. I think it was just 1 cent tax. They did a specific time limit, and they had certain things that there was a purpose for that money. So we have a purpose here, and the beauty of that is it unanimously was voted on. The beauty of that is that we have a lot of people that come from. It's us in the city sharing. Others are helping us share that expense. The pumps are lined up at every store in town, and they're not only us buying the fuel, but it's people that come through as well. I don't know how far our annexed area reaches. They're helping us share that expense. The pumps are lined up at every store in town, and they're not only us buying the fuel, but it's people that come through as well. I don't know how far our annexed area. Town, that's got to. They did it with if they'd met the goal, if they hadn't, there'd be an opportunity to vote on it to see if it was extended. So I think that was a good idea. And that was it. Just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. We will move along to new business unless we have any commissioner
commission comment?
I think Miss Evans had started to stand
Oh.
up.
Foreshadowing.
Right. Hi, I'm Janet Evans. I'm a resident here in High Springs where I come to a lot of the meetings to understand what's happening here in our local politics. Thank you, Mr. Marshall, for the raw data numbers that you gave. One thing I'd really like to point out is that because you went really fast at the beginning, when you showed where we were over the years with our spending and how spending was coming inappropriately so from funds where it wasn't allocated to be from. For example, roads were only worked on 3 out of 8 years. I want to bring this point up because I think it is the crux of why we're in the situation that we're in right now is because the money was mismanaged so badly. Came from was that mismanaged.
I'm William Crane. I resident of High Springs here, and I got the letter about the increase, and I'm wondering, is this going to go into effect? Is that what you're voting on?
So that letter is a notice. That letter is notifying you of a hearing that's tonight, and here in a little bit, further on the agenda, the commission's going to discuss and set the fire assessment rate. That letter shows you what the maximum is and what the proposed is, and so that is up to the commission tonight if they want to raise it. I think it's $27 is what it's going from $223, and the max that we can put it to tonight is $250. You may see the max at is it $350, Kevin? $335 is the max. The commission did not set that max for this letters, but they have to tell you what the max is. So tonight they're discussing a $27 raise to your fire assessment fee. It's going from $233 to $250. I got that letter. I read it and I was confused, and I do this for a living. I was confused myself.
So the proposed is 250?
No, yes.
250, okay. Well, because I was looking at the 335, and that would be a 34% increase, and that seems like a lot to me. But
Nope, don't give me
thank you for the
they're only
information.
discussing $250 tonight.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Going once, going twice. Sold. Any commissioner response?
Yes, please, Mr. Mayor, if I could. We had talked at previous meetings about a potential gas tax to raise revenue, but my understanding is that as a municipality, we can't set that. It has to be a countywide or a statewide.
I believe you're correct, but I don't know for sure, so I want to research it, and I will bring it back to you at the next meeting. If I can get the research done, I'll bring it at the next meeting. I agree with what you're saying, and if I had to say, I don't think we can, but I want to make sure, so I will look into it, and hopefully I will have an answer by next week.
Okay, thank you.
In High Springs, Florida. You need my address? Okay. So I do have a question about this also that I received yesterday. So am I understanding you to say that no matter what the assessed value of our home is, that everyone will be charged the same amount, $250? Like, how is that fair?
So there's different methods on how they come up with fire assessment. We don't set it. We contract with a company that does this. They work through the formula and whatnot. That is the formula that High Springs uses. Everybody gets the same residential rate. It varies on the commercial rate. So if you had a commercial property, it goes off your square footage. Residential will be 233 unless the commission just votes to raise it tonight to 250.
Right. I understood that the first time you said it.
Okay.
I was just trying to understand why are homes valued at. We vary here in High Springs from, I don't know,
Sure do.
$30,000 to $500,000. I don't
Sure.
know. So why is the little old lady who's been in her house all her life assessed the same amount as someone else who's living in a $500,000 house? That's my question.
Okay. Thank you. Kevin, can you elaborate on that at all? It'll be part of the presentation. So, ma'am, we're going to get into that a little bit deeper when we get into the fire assessment on the agenda. We'll dig into that a little deeper. Thank you.
All right, moving on to new business. Discuss, consider, and act on appointing a new member to the Mayor's Youth Council.
You have it in front of you. You have
So tell me about it. What do we got?
So you have a couple spots opening up on your youth council. We had an applicant come in. This will be this one. Go ahead, Jamie.
We still have one full member available position, and we received an application, so kind of thought it might be good to go ahead and fill that vacant member, and she seems gung-ho and ready to go.
I like it.
I make a motion that we
Absolutely.
put Emma on the Youth Mayor Council.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Do we have any citizen comment?
I have one question, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Howard, is she related to you by any chance? Is the applicant related to you? Same last name. I'm just curious. Yes, ma'am. All right. And she goes to Santa Fe High School? Nice.
Good deal.
Outstanding.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We'll let Miss Emma know she's in the Army now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to new business item number 2, discuss the solid waste contract renewal.
So your contract for the solid waste is coming to an end, and we have to decide. This is just for discussion. It'll be on the next agenda, I think. Let me double check. It's not. You need to discuss on what you want us to do. Do you want us to put it back for RFP? Do you want to renew the Waste Pro contract? And they're also found out that GFL, who will be probably submitting, has a contract through Alachua County that we can also piggyback on, as long as it was bid properly. So kind of gotta give me direction which way you want to go with this solid waste contract.
I think we give the opportunity to our vendors first. Just open up the contracts, see what happens from there, and then go.
Kind of gotta give me direction which way you want to go with this solid waste contract.
I think we give the opportunity to our vendors first. Just open up the contracts, see what happens from there, and then go from there.
Like putting my phone number on the flyer. So we did the change very, very quickly. There were a lot of questions naturally. When we had GFL, we were averaging 60 to 80 to 100 complaints a week. Now I maybe get 3. Take that how you will.
So if
Does that answer your question?
Yes. Anywhere on the first year, and we got less money as a city from it.
My concern, biggest concern.
As a city from it.
My concern, biggest concern, one, we start giving our vendors one and done kind of contracts. That's not really going. Two, it's what worries me is put it out for bid. We're not going to get GFL prices from before. I can tell you that, from 3 or 4 or 5, whatever years ago it was. I don't know. It worries me right now we know what Waste Pro has, what their service is including, and what we're paying. I just think we should open it up, allow them first dibs to kind of negotiate and start contract talks. If it's something we don't like, we're not. I just think we should open it up, allow them first dibs to kind of negotiate. Allow them first dibs to kind of negotiate. Like, we're not signing anything. Manager brings it and we don't like it, then we move forward with somebody else.
I do think should be some loyalty to who has the contract and who has done a good job for 3 years in order to get the first bite at the apple. And if we don't like the numbers, I agree with Commissioner Howell. If we don't like the numbers, we open it right back up and we hear from everybody.
Yeah.
When we get to citizen comment on it, sir.
On the piggyback contract, can you explain how that kind of works if we went that route?
Sure.